So welcome everybody. Thank you all for joining us. I hope everyone's staying safe and healthy and as sane as possible. I'm Emily Petrolia. I'm the president of ESP Advisors, and my co-host is Rennie Myers. Rennie, would you introduce yourself?
Sure thing. Hey everyone, my name is Rennie Myers. I work with the Division of Ocean Sciences at the National Science
Here,
Foundation
but
supporting.
yeah, without further ado, I'd like to introduce Rear Admiral Tim Gallaudet. He's the Assistant Secretary of Commerce for Oceans and Atmosphere, and he's Deputy Administrator of NOAA.
Okay, well, I'll just say a few things, and I'll be more interested in discussion after. But I want to talk a little bit about what our agency is doing to uh, power America, empower America in this age I call it the ocean age. And we're doing it through a number of ways in advancing ocean science and technology, partnerships, and leadership. So about the November timeframe last year, the White House's Office of Science and Technology Policy convened an Ocean Science and Technology Partnership Summit. And that was a great event because they realized the great opportunity and potential for our oceans and understanding them and using them sustainably to benefit our country. And so we had a terrific event with several follow-up actions, one being a presidential memorandum to advance ocean mapping and exploration, as well as just today, the signing of the executive order to promote American fisheries, seafood, and aquaculture, which was also a terrific development. And then, if you just look at the incredible growth in ocean data provided by U.S. agencies like NOAA, by universities, by even private sector assets like Fugro, who's giving bathymetry to populate our databases, all of that has been empowered by a national ocean policy signed in 2018 with an important premise to make ocean data more available to users. And it's like aquaculture and wind and other critical minerals, for example, all important for our economy and other aspects important for defense. And so we have all this activity, and that is why the White House has expressed interest, which is equally strong in both sides of the hill. And so some of the ways as NOAA, the leading marine science agency in our country, is playing a leadership role in this era is a number of ways. And as I mentioned, kind of the backdrop is this, that in the last half of the 20th century, with advances in space and putting Neil Armstrong on the moon about 50 years ago, we call that era the space age. And I posture to you that today, with all the advances in ocean activities and research, this is the ocean age that we are living in, and that's where the opportunities are greatest. So what NOAA is doing in the three main topic areas, we're applying and advancing S&T, we're expanding our partnerships, and number three, we're focusing on our workforce, our people. And briefly, the S&T areas we're focusing on include a number that we've articulated strategies for in a deliberate way with goals and objectives to advance their contributions to every one of our mission areas, whether it be fisheries, charting, weather, and climate. And these 6 strategies are unmanned systems or autonomous systems, drone technology, artificial intelligence, and an area of microbiology we call omics, which is like genetics, genomics, in a field called eDNA. And so those are kind of our 3 of our big science and technology strategies, and they're underpinned by 3 more data-heavy strategies, one on citizen science, one on data specifically, and another on cloud. So we have these 6 areas we're focusing on, and we picked them because of several reasons. One is they are transformational in nature. They're allowing incredible gains in our understanding of the planet and the oceans and our ability to predict processes, as well as the rapid improvement in skill and accuracy in the predictions and observations and assessments, as well as cost savings. All these technologies are allowing for basically a cheaper way to do business than the normal big government processes would allow. So that's one area. The partnerships area is exciting because just after this November summit, we went and signed agreements with Viking Cruise Lines, an outfit called Ocean Infinity, which operates very high-end 6,000-meter rated autonomous underwater vehicles, Caladan Oceanic, which is the company that this record-setting diver Victor Vescova owns, as well as Vulcan, which is the company that has a ship called the Petrel, owned by former Microsoft leader Paul Allen, and then lastly OceanX under Ray Dalio. These are all, again, very substantial companies or organizations that are allowing our scientists to work with them to advance our mapping, to understand, perform science to benefit ocean conservation, and a number of other areas. Very excited about all of them. And this is just the paradigm shift that we're seeing that, you know, in this first bold era of American innovation that the White House science advisor Kelvin Drogmeyer talked about, this was after World War II when big advances in S&T like nuclear power, supercomputers, space exploration, that was all funded by the big government. But nowadays, the main, the heaviest S&T advances are occurring in the private sector. Just take a look at SpaceX. Unbelievable technology advances there, all funded outside of the government. So, it's in our best interest to leverage those advances. And there's a desire. Every one of these companies are excited to affiliate with our government, knowing we're the gold standard for data, for science, and they want to be our partners. So it's just a great, exciting time right now. And the last thing I'll finish up with is our people, our most important asset. And I've made it a singular focus area of mine to advance some of our own internal programs. For example, we have a leader development program. We have a new mentoring program. We're developing programs to instruct and train people on coaching and facilitating. Very important too is our new, we're really reinvigorated program for sexual assault and harassment prevention and response. And so I just think making sure our people are working in an environment where they feel that they're valued, that they're safe, that they're treated equally is how we'll continue our greatness as a nation in ocean S&T. And so I just want to thank you all for allowing me to be here with you. I'd be happy to take questions, and I appreciate this community and all that you do to provide for American security, prosperity, and well-being going into the 21st century. So thank you.
Thank you so much, Admiral. I will ask one question. I was wondering if you had any sort of comments on that paradigm in the ocean space, how technology has helped us to maintain operations when we can't otherwise be out on the water, either from expense or COVID or whatnot. And then sort of following up with what's your hope for the ocean science community over the next 10 years or so, or even 20?
Side. So we're not doing some of the ocean science we wanted to be doing. That's a challenge. Now, interestingly, you asked me, so how are we addressing it? Well, two ways. One is, and I've talked about these partnerships. It turns out that this Caladan Oceanic company, which owns the highest rating manned submersible in the world, called the Limiting Factor, they are out surveying in the Pacific now, and they are mapping areas that we've asked them to map. So in this pandemic time where the government policies have told us to halt operations, we have a private sector partner who's out there doing our mission, and that is beautiful and nicely timed. So very good justification for that. And then there's the technology that they're using. They're using remotely operated vehicles. Oh, pardon me. They're using human operated vehicle, primary one, but remotely operated vehicles to do some of the positioning, navigation, and control. And so that technology, I think you're going to see grow and proliferate, especially in this era more and more through the year, where there is going to be impositions on the number of people we can put on ships or in labs, et cetera. And how are we going to tackle that? We're going to tackle that through autonomous technologies, increasing use of artificial intelligence, and the like. And actually, that is a kind of trend being talked about now, not just for the oceans and ocean science, but everything, marine transportation, you name it. And so I thought it was nice that we were positioned well to take advantage of that, to meet this challenge during the time.
Thank you so much, Admiral. We really appreciate your remarks. Thank you again to everyone for joining. A reminder to please provide feedback and thoughts for topics for next time. There's a lot to chew on here, so I really appreciate it. ESPadvisor.com/oceanblue is in the chat.